Sports Studios and from New York City, it's the Bob and Tom Show. It's a little peek behind the curtain when I say that. And he goes, woo, that's a way of checking the line to make sure he's there.
Was there any doubt?
Well, Ace was trying to talk to you and you wouldn't answer. Or maybe you're just not speaking to him. So I can understand that.
Well, we have a slew of engineers working on this, and I think I let them handle all the...
Certainly. You don't want to get your hands dirty.
Mic check duties.
Absolutely. You're darn right. It's the Bob and Tom Show. Jess Hooker in for Kristi Lee. Kristi's filming her new sitcom, Just Kristi.
You're saying that like it's so real.
I know. I hope people are believing that.
Kristi and the great Gavin MacLeod.
Yes. The ghost of Gavin MacLeod.
She plays an undertaker who is...
I didn't realize he was no longer.
Can't get his eyebrows right.
Oh, I don't know. Is Gavin still with us? I don't know.
No, Gavin's long dead, right? Isn't he?
I really have no idea. I'm sure he was a nice guy.
I can't think of a better way to start the show. There's Josh. There's Ace.
Speculating about that.
If Gavin MacLeod is alive or dead. No. Did you watch the World Cup, buddy?
Lifetime pass, by the way, Gavin MacLeod, because he was in McHale's Navy.
He is still with us.
Okay. He is?
Yes.
So the possibility of him listening and me saying, oh, he's long dead, him going, what? What the hell did I do?
I believe his sideburns from the Love Boat era have passed away.
I think he had the sideburns of Mary Tyler Moore, too.
Yeah.
Did he now? Okay.
I think so.
But, McHale's Navy. Oh, great show.
He's 88.
88.
Wow. Okay. Well, great.
Jess, you ever seen McHale's Navy?
Nope.
Well worth it.
All I know about McHale's Navy is what Tom has talked about on this show.
All right.
Great theme song featuring Ernest Borgnine, of course, the PT-73.
Oh, my God.
Now, Jess, a little quiz for Jess Hooker.
We're way deep.
A sweet young woman who has not been tainted. Oh, wait a minute. That's wrong. Young woman
Not me.
who has been tainted by... Do you know the reference PT-109? What does that mean?
I don't. I have no idea what that means.
Do you know what PT-73 is?
No.
Do you know what a PT boat is?
It's a boat. See, he let it slip. It's a Navy. It's a Navy boat. It's
okay.
PT stands for cruiser.
Oh, okay.
It's
like in Battleship. Yeah.
Yes, the PT. What the hell? What's happening here? These were famous patrol boats in World War II, and I believe they were made of plywood.
Is that true? So
Yeah,
they
I
could
think
catch
so.
fire.
And then, of course, President Kennedy was an amazing war hero in PT-109.
That fairy tale, yes.
And it's not a fairy tale, for God's sake, you moron.
Embellished.
Oh, my God. It's,
look up
you don't believe in the moon landing. What is it?
Qualifying history.
I need to get a psychologist. What does it mean when you're skeptical of real events like this? You can't understand life as we know it. We have some interesting space news today.
We do?
Yeah. Everybody's getting psyched up about the 50th anniversary of the moon landing and some interesting stuff there.
And moon landing in quotes?
Oh, God, okay. I'm sorry.
Did you watch the World Cup? Did you watch it or not?
I'm in New York City. I have other distractions right now.
What did you do yesterday? I saw you guys were in the you was in the subway.
Me was in the subway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went down to the Village and did some stuff down there.
All right. He's already talking like a New Yorker. Oh, I was in the Village.
They designated the Village because that's what it's called.
Well, he's an OG New Yorker.
Oh, that's right.
He is,
yeah. You were there with the long hair telling people not to hassle you.
Don't hassle me, man.
70s. That's right. You were asking...
By the way, Jess...
carried broads to ball back at your pad.
It was a dorm. The point is, Jess, I did learn something. If you go to your phone and say, hey, Siri, show me the nearest subway. Oh, Jesus, it's doing it right now. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
phone.
I bet so. I bet it is. Yeah.
It shows you the nearest Subway restaurant.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize till I got there. Oh, wait a minute. This isn't
that's
Canal Street.
Siri, this is sort of my fault. I can't blame you.
No, I did not watch the World Cup. What happened?
The USA won 2-1, and there was a controversy.
Whenever you use the word controversy, finish it. Especially for women's
England
soccer.
scored a goal late, and the ruling was they were offsides, which means the player is past the line before the ball is. It's much like cherry picking in basketball, which I mastered that. I just stand under the our basket and wait for him to throw me the ball. So they wipe that goal off, and the USA wins 2-1, and they play the winner of Sweden and the Netherlands, which is this afternoon. They'll play the winner of that match on July 7th, whatever that day is that I've drifted into. It might be Sunday.
It is Sunday.
And I assume you have the big world record news.
I don't have the big world record news yet. I'm eagerly awaiting it. But, the Sweden-Netherlands match this afternoon, of course, the most famous citizen of Sweden will be there. Mr. and Mrs. Swedish Chef.
Of course, yeah.
And we're just hoping that they get them on television. So he's cheering on his women's soccer team.
Yes.
I can't think of anybody else from Sweden. It's the chef and ABBA, right? Isn't that's it?
Yeah,
that's
all.
it, right? Yeah. And the Skarsgårds. Aren't the acting family the Skarsgårds?
They certainly sound Swedish.
Yeah,
Well,
the new world record was broken by a friend of the show.
Is this right?
What? What's happening?
Wait a minute. Are you because he called in once?
What?
Are you talking about that guy?
What's going on?
You mean our buddy David Rush? Who we spoke to.
So he's a friend of the show, is he?
Yeah, you call the show, you're a friend of the show.
All right.
Now, do you remember David Rush? He's got, among other things, the record for, the most...
most blueberries in his mouth?
Yeah, he popped the most balloons.
These are the kind of records we're talking about.
This one's amazing.
His wife has the world record for most eye rolling.
A headline, man breaks world record, balances running lawnmower on his chin for nearly 4 minutes.
All right. No. I can get behind this one.
Oh, come on. I don't believe that for a minute. I don't think the blade was going. Okay.
It's a running lawnmower. Now,
my good friend David Rush did this.
The lawnmower can be on, but the blade is not turning.
No, just to clarify, it was not a riding lawnmower. Now show me that trick.
Well, no, it's a push mower.
I have a very short version of this article. I'll have to look it up on the internet, but I assume that the blade's moving. Otherwise.
Well, then it's moot. Yeah.
And what's the point? If you can't lop your finger off if you slip.
Well, and how do you keep a?
He's going to cut his face off. What are you talking about?
Yeah. How do you balance a lawnmower on your chin and keep that bar depressed up at the handle? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way.
I'm guessing duct tape.
It is. It's the handle. He has the middle of the handle balanced on his chin.
Oh, you got a picture of it?
Yeah.
He's going that way?
Okay,
I would think one of the front wheels would be
not as impressive.
David, of course, a resident of Boise, Idaho, and a friend of the show. He's got, what does he have, 80-plus world records.
Something like that.
The blade was spinning.
Yes. See?
Shut up!
Yeah, but it was way above his head, pointed in the opposite direction.
What if he slips?
I'm not.
It's not going to land on you.
There's some.
Are you kidding? This is like juggling chainsaws. Things can go wrong.
Get this sumbitch on the phone.
They can go wrong.
He trained for over 3 years for this record.
Did you see the magician thing with the crossbow?
No. What are you doing? I thought you said you were in New York City and there's stuff to do. You're watching lawnmowers and magic tricks online.
I spent the last hour reading news on the phone. I don't even have it in front of me. There was a magician that did a crossbow trick that did not end well.
Oh.
For the volunteer from the audience or for him?
Let's just say there was an ambulance involved, although so far not a coroner.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find the story. Yeah, we'll dig that one up this morning.
And Wimbledon action continues today. The teen who's caught the imagination of the United States, we're cuckoo for Coco Gauff.
Yeah.
She's in action this afternoon against a Russian. So,
this is the Rocky IV of Wimbledon.
I think so. I've heard, I will break you. I've heard that there are T-shirts that have been spotted that say "Cuckoo for Coco Gauff."
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. She's great, and she obviously she defeated her idol.
Yeah,
the woman that got her to start playing tennis. So that's a great story.
Venus Williams, the lesser.
Well, they're both incredible athletes.
And she had a picture of Serena.
I got a great Russian story. I don't know if you spotted this one, Jess.
More Russia news?
Yeah, about the cosmonauts refusing to give semen samples.
Oh, no. I did not see this. No.
Oh, my goodness. Like in the capsule or before they left?
No, remember we were talking about reproduction in space, and we had the story yesterday about cooking we were doing
cookies, yeah.
Cookies in space.
Yeah, the Hilton Hotels is going to send their cookies
into space.
Yes.
But they're going to bake them up there.
They're going to bake them.
And at my suggestion yesterday, the Hilton hotels now they're not going to be sending those great fluffy robes and towels up there for the astronauts. No, this is really interesting because they're talking about reproduction in space, and the cosmonauts are refusing to give semen samples. I'm not kidding.
Huh? I wonder why.
Why?
Wouldn't it just fly around the capsule? I mean,
my guess is maybe they don't want to be. What's the word I'm looking for here, Josh?
Excited?
Yes,
They don't want
pleasuring.
to play with themselves? Are they saying they don't?
You can get women for that.
That's
Well,
true.
yeah.
No, so you're suggesting
HJ.com.
I think we probably should table this discussion.
Okay. Hi, welcome back to the Bob and Tom Show. We're in the Napa Auto Parts Studios at home base and also in New York City with Tom Griswold. Hi, Tom.
Tom, we heard you say hello.
We did
so
hear
we
you
know
say
you're there
hello.
somewhere.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
we can.
Okay, sorry, we lost you there for a second. I just heard some kind of weird argument about the weather.
No. That was us.
Yeah, then you heard us very clearly.
That's right. That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Then it went away. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
we
good.
can.
I am in New York City, at actually in the famous CBS headquarters on West 57th Street. The famous Walter Cronkite urinal. There's a plaque over it.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. It says,
No,
that's
is that
the way I
true?
whiz.
No,
That's the way I whiz, it says.
Oh, that. Okay,
Accordingly.
then it's not.
But what's interesting, Jess, is that the men's room does have the main entrance. It's got sort of this giant round window on it, as if it came off some ship.
Like a one-way window? You can see out, but you can't see in?
I'm not sure you can see either way. I didn't really hover there to check. It's just this weird. I'll take a picture of this door. It's rather odd. This is an old building, and it's a kind of a labyrinthine. It's
Labyrinthian?
This maze of. Yeah, that's one of those words I've never heard anyone say. I just read it a lot.
Right.
It's a maze in here. We have some great guests coming this morning. Comedians Bill Sheft, Allie Breen, and Carmen Lynch. And, of course, you can hear at the home base, Chick McGee, Josh Arnold, Jess Hooker.
Thank you.
And Ace Cosby, our engineer. Is Ace there?
He is.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good to see you, Ace, even though I can't see you.
You look good. Never looked better.
Coming up, the Ace Cosby joke of the day. Kristi Lee on assignment in California. What's she doing, Chick?
She's shooting her new situation comedy. It's going to be on Fox. It's called Just Kristi.
That's right.
Very excited for it.
Very excited.
Lies.
Here's what I figured. And if you're probably not going to listen to this part if you're now rushing to text people saying Kristi has a sitcom. But before, we've made up stories that she's pregnant, she got married, she adopted a Chinese baby at one point, I think. So instead of going that way, I thought we'd go positive. And people will tell her, oh, I heard you got a sitcom. Instead of, oh, I heard you're pregnant. So
Yeah, they're all
maybe
lies.
they're all lies, sure. But
Now,
what
we
are
have
you going to do?
a number of things to get to. You mentioned cockroaches in sports. After the big headlines in sports once again involve the great American women's soccer team. They won again yesterday.
Alex Morgan celebrated her go-ahead goal with a cheeky tea-sipping motion. Held her pinky out because she scored a goal against England, eh?
Wow.
Hello, eh? No, you don't like that? You don't?
It's poor sportsmanship. I
She
would
may
say.
as well
Well,
give
you
him
know,
the finger.
the ladies, well, no.
Act like you've been there before. That's always been my thing.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we won. The good guys won 2-1 over England last night, our afternoon in Lyon, France. Lyon, the famous blues artist from Paris. Lyon,
is
France.
Gosh, of course, yeah.
Well, the Elton John song.
Lyon, lots of
money.
USA wins 2-1, so they'll play the winner of Sweden and the Netherlands this afternoon. They'll play the winner of the championship on Sunday. England had a chance to tie it at 2-2, but it was ruled they were offsides as they scored the goal.
I have a question.
Yeah,
The World Cup, is it indeed a cup?
it is not. It looks like a
Is it a plate?
no. It's a hand or it's a holding a ball, right? Or I know
Is
that's the men's World Cup. So I assume.
Shouldn't it be a cup? This
would
is
be
one of my pet peeves.
The Women's World Cup would probably be the same thing, only be 60% smaller. I mean, isn't that the way?
It's
Hilarious.
sort of like a. You could argue it is a cup that's holding a soccer ball, but it's not. It's not all that cup-like.
Isn't it an abstract cup? That's
Yes,
the word
it
I was
is.
looking for.
Yeah.
It's an abstract-like cup. Yes, Tom.
See, it should be a cup. I hate these things where they give out plates and other stupid. It's a cup. It's called the World Cup.
Isn't Wimbledon a plate?
Wimbledon is still a plate, I think.
What do you do? What do you do with that exactly? Well, I'm over at
Serve hors
Serena's
d'oeuvres?
house, and she brings out the carrots and ranch. I thought it was kind of a tacky hors d'oeuvre, but it was on her Wimbledon plate.
Carrots and ranch.
That would be the ultimate insult to England's all on.
Do they give these great women players? Do they give them? Do they get rings?
I don't know.
I thought you were the sports guy.
No, Tom. I thought you were an intellectual. Why don't you know that they whether they get rings or not for the World Cup?
I don't know. I'd never really thought about it until 30 seconds ago.
I haven't either. Maybe it's
because the guys that if you win the Super Bowl, you get a Super Bowl.
Maybe
ring.
Team USA does get together and give people rings.
Yeah,
remember that story yesterday about the guy that had his class ring returned after 50 years?
Yeah, had his name engraved on it, but they finally tracked him down.
He lost it 50 years ago. They tracked it down and found the guy. That's a
nothing story.
Yeah, that's a zero story.
Guy's 74 years old. He finally gets his class ring back. Of course, it was from his ex-girlfriend. Turned 74 and cling. Well, look what happened.
There you go. We're
Josh,
back. We're back on point.
Josh, I think as a general rule, you see a guy wearing your high school ring, you just don't want to talk to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you know he's going to walk up and go, "Hey, remember when?"
Yeah, the song "Glory Days" just playing perpetually.
I got my class ring. See, that's why the way I feel about my high school class ring, because due to carnivals and direct mail and the climate being what it was back in the 80s,
Sure.
I had to pawn my class ring, and it wasn't really a pawning. It was one of those
we got
gold stores, I guess.
We got a couple of windbag letters. A lot of people apparently pawned their class ring.
Yeah, the gold boom in the 80s, I remembered it.
I never even bothered buying one.
I never got one either.
I remember
No
thinking,
kidding?
why would I spend money on this? I'm not going to wear it. And
I figured, Josh, you probably had. Did you have a steady girlfriend in high school so you could be going steady and give her your ring?
No. I didn't have girlfriends in high school at all.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Crickets.
No, it was sort of self-imposed. It wasn't. There were girls who were interested, but I was interested in one in particular, and she was not. She would pretend to be interested and then wasn't, and then it. Quite a 4 years of torture.
Well, you'll find this ironic, Tom. My senior prom, my sort of girlfriend at the time had already graduated. That's right. She was older. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, she did not want to go to the prom. So,
Did you go to the prom, Josh?
I did, yeah.
Tuxedo?
I went twice. Yeah, tux. I went to my
One
senior
of those
prom,
wacky white
and then my
tuxes?
girlfriend was a senior after me, so she was 1 year below me, and I ended up going to her prom as well.
Oh, very
but
nice.
she was below you, right?
Below, he said, "You idiot." All right, I'm sorry I asked. Anyway, I thought the class ring story was kind of cool. 50 years later, the guy gets it. And
You just are attracted to these.
not since Frodo has
A search for a ring.
ring lasted so long. Okay, sorry. You said you had cockroaches in the news. I Googled it. I don't see a sports story about cockroaches.
No, I made up the sports angle. But the point is,
What's the story?
cockroaches are now thought to be the next Armageddon of the earth, because, hold on to yourselves, they are, according to Purdue University, German cockroaches, the most common species worldwide, are becoming resistant / immune to almost all insecticides.
Well, terrific. We knew they could live through a nuclear blast, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Cockroaches live, German cockroaches, almost exclusively in human environment.
And you can, of course, recognize them. They don't walk on all fours. They
Goose step around the kitchen, of course. Did you know that cockroaches, Tom, produce asthma-triggering allergens and can carry pathogens like Salmonella, Enterococcus?
I did not, but I noticed you must be reading it. Now, what about those roach motels? So you're saying, I thought it used to be...
Roach motels, they check out, but they can check in, but they can't check out.
They can never leave?
Oh,
Yeah, no, those are the Hotel California.
the Roach Hotel Californians.
I knew there was a joke there somewhere. It took me too long to
They
get
like
to
polka music. They trash the hotel room, but they can never leave.
No, but this story reminded me. Did you ever have cockroach races? That seemed like
No.
something they do at Columbia.
No, never.
Like
God,
some
no.
sort of back in the day
No.
in New York City.
No one was ever that
The
high.
intelligentsia. They paint you paint the back of a cockroach a different color, and then you put them in a circle. And you've
Never been that bored.
Yeah,
if
no
your
way.
cockroach runs out of the
Could
circle,
we get to
you
the
win
more
money.
interesting story about the cosmonauts and their semen?
No, we're going to do this story first, and this is if it ever loads. We're cuckoo for Coco Gauff. She is taking on, ladies and gentlemen, a Russian this afternoon in Wimbledon, and I'm saying Wimbledon.
This is the 15-year-old who beat Venus Williams.
She beat Venus Williams, and her hero though was Serena, but she did the next best thing by beating Venus. So there you go. And that's sports, and boy is it quiet.
She's playing around.
We do have Cosmonauts in Space. You want to talk about that? This is a windbag, so I was listening to if you opened a soda can in space, would it shoot you across the cabin? I posed this question. There's a video, evidently, on YouTube of a cosmonaut in space shaking and then opening a can. It did not spew everywhere. It just fizzed.
Oh, just kind of fizzes out slowly?
Yeah, it goes slow. So there's no...
Well, speaking of fizzing out slowly,
yes.
Yes.
from Futurism.com,
Oh.
Russian scientists know that in order to settle on other planets and space-based habitats, space travelers will need to start families just like they do here on Earth. However, they're having a tough time recruiting Russian cosmonauts to provide semen samples during their space missions. I guess the cosmonauts don't want to be, what's the word I'm looking for here, Josh? Self-pleasuring.
Sure, yeah. Having at themselves.
And they have no privacy. And
right.
I guess there's one cosmonaut, apparently it's volunteering, Ivan Jurganov.
Yes, yeah.
Lieutenant Jurganov.
Yes, yeah. He stepped up.
That's apparently he's
Ivan will do it. Come on over here, Ivan.
apparently giving some samples.
Ivan Jurganoff, and I'm laughing like a little girl.
I imagine. I mean, you have to wonder what's going on up there. Do they have any privacy? Do they can they go to the corner and?
Wasn't that the first question we asked our astronaut buddy David Wolf?
I don't think a gentleman would.
No.
discuss such a
If
thing.
a couple had, been really in love.
I think he said that's the question they immediately get when they're
Right.
doing tours of NASA is that one, and then about the bodily functions and that sort of.
The problem with this, as everybody knows, when you ejaculate in space, it shoots you across the shuttle. So you have to, much like opening a can of soda.
like
It does. It does. If you're the aforementioned Peter North, who I learned about yesterday on the show. Apparently,
Had you never heard that name before?
I guess so. I didn't realize that he was famous for the velocity and quantity of the aforementioned
That's exactly right.
fluid. Because why were we talking about that? Was that because of the Times Square?
I think because the new Spider-Man movie is out.
Much like a web.
What is this one? Spider-Man 49.
I had lunch with Josh yesterday, and I made my opinion about the new Spider-Man, the Tom Holland. I said I don't care for him. And I thought Josh I know he did. He gave me a verbal tongue lashing like you've never heard.
90% of the people love him.
Everybody loves the new Spider-Man, Tom. Maybe a new Spider-Man is all you need to get back on the superhero movie bandwagon.
Not interested. I just don't care. Sorry.
Man, oh, man.
Now, you did recommend the movie yesterday, which is about this world in which no one knows about the Beatles but one guy. That sounds really interesting.
Yep. I loved it. I didn't want to go. My daughter talked me into it. And
Josh, did you go to the new Spider-Man?
No, not yet.
So you're.
Oh, I've seen him. This Spider-Man has been in 3-4 movies already.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was basing.
He was part of the
my opinion on.
Avengers.
Yeah. It's like he's a baby.
And he had his own solo movie, 2 years ago? He's good. He's good.
He's tiny. He's a toddler.
Yeah, that's what Peter Parker always has been.
No, I don't think that's true. My Peter Parker went. Never mind.
You're arguing about a movie about a guy that wears tight pants and runs. Never mind. I'm not really interested. Now, coming up, comedians Bill Scheft, Allie Breen, and Carmen Lynch. I am in New York City. They're going to be joining me here. Meanwhile, back at the Radio Ranch, We do have Jess Hooker sitting in for Kristi Lee. And Jess, I'm sure you found some interesting things in the world of news back there. What's going on?
I did. I have a little bit. Let's talk about. I don't think that try before you buy policy extends to food. Do you?
Probably like in a grocery store.
I beg your
Yeah.
pardon. The bulk food aisle. I beg your pardon.
A Texas woman has been banned from Walmart after she reportedly ate half of a cake in the store and refused to pay for the rest of it.
Well, she didn't eat the rest of it.
I know. So why wouldn't she pay for the half she ate?
Well, don't they put the samples out? That's my favorite part about going to Costco or one of those.
A
big
whole
stores.
cake?
Well, she ate half of the whole cake.
Half of a whole cake.
And so she only wants to pay for half, Tom. I think that's reasonable.
Have you seen the people in the big box stores that go? They basically just wander around and eat lunch.
Yeah, it's great. There are like 20 people minimum
Well, this lady takes the cake.
handing out.
What's the old saying? You can't have your cake and steal it too. So she refused to pay for the cake. She just wanted to pay for half it after eating it, or was she going to pay anything?
No, I don't think she was going to pay anything. The officers showed up at the Walmart.
The officers, they called the police over a cake.
Wichita Falls Police Department.
I don't have the story. Is there a picture of her? Is she a beef cadet?
There is not a picture of her.
Is she a big gal?
No, she's not. There's no picture, but
I have a theory.
Beef cadet.
I have a theory
raised its ugly head.
about Walmart.
okay.
Yes.
You know, we get all these stories about Florida and Florida Man and everything else.
Yeah.
I think that Walmart is sort of the Florida embassy in every state.
And there are social media.
That's brilliant.
There are social
You're
media.
gonna find.
Good, yeah.
You go into Walmart. You're going to find Florida Man in there somewhere. There's a website I've seen.
Yeah.
Have you seen that website? It's something like, you're not going to believe these people were actually in Walmart, and it has.
Yeah, it's just the wildest pictures. People usually half naked,
Yes.
or It's wild.
But you can't eat half of a
She
cake.
sat down and ate half a cake, and they called the police, and she still refused to pay.
This is a big pet peeve of mine. People that eat while they grocery shop. I don't like that.
What?
I hate it. It makes me nuts. I know you do it all the time.
I do.
He downs 2 Diet Pepsis in one trip to the grocery store.
Do you pay them?
Diet Pepsi.
Not until the end.
No, I pay. I give
If you
them
pay at the end, it's okay.
I give
guess.
them the bottle.
So here's what this lady apparently tried to do. She ate half the cake, and then she went up to the cash register and said, "Hey, half of this cake is missing. You should charge me."
She did do that.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
should take 50% off.
Oh, wow. That wasn't in this part of the story.
Josh, that's the icing on the cake.
It sure is.
They ended up banning the woman.
I
from
read
the
this
store.
on a website called eater.com, EATER, which, how was I not aware of it?
Wait a second. I think you've got a new gig.